Almost everyone thinks the book of Revelation is all about the future, apocalyptic chaos, beasts, bowls, and judgments. But Revelation wasn't first written for the curious, it was written for the crushed. One of the most overlooked parts of this book is its letters to real churches, facing real suffering in real cities. And one of those cities was Smyrna, a beautiful port city, known for its wealth and its loyalty to Rome. But for Christians, it was a pressure cooker of persecution. Jesus didn't give them escape plans. He didn't hand them prophecy charts. He gave them a letter, full of comfort, confrontation, and eternal hope. And tucked inside that short letter are truths that can give you backbone today. If you've ever walked through grief, if you've ever been mocked for your faith, if you've ever wondered if Jesus sees you, then this message is for you. Let's unpack Revelation 2:8-11, verse by verse. Point 1. Jesus knows what you're going through. I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich. The first word out of Jesus' mouth is this: I know. It may be the most underrated promise in the whole New Testament. He doesn't say, I've heard about it. He doesn't say, I understand conceptually. He says, I know intimately, personally, deeply. And he lists it out: tribulation, poverty, slander. This is not some vague encouragement. Because they wouldn't burn incense to Caesar, they were losing their jobs, their homes, their reputations, and in some cases, their lives. And Jesus says something shocking. You're poor, but you are rich. Here's kingdom math. You can have an empty bank account and still overflow with treasure. You can be slandered on earth and praised in heaven. You can be stripped of everything and still own the one thing that matters, Christ. Imagine a man in rags walking past a palace. People laugh at him. But inside the palace vault is a deed with his name on it. He's not poor, he's just waiting to collect. That's the believer in Smyrna. And that might be you too. Jesus doesn't define you by the world's scoreboard. He sees what no one else does. He knows when your tears hit the pillow. He knows when you bite your tongue to avoid retaliation. He knows when you feel forgotten. We don't need a God who just gives advice. We need a Savior who says, I know. Take one moment today and name your pain before God. Not with shame, but with confidence. Because He already knows and He calls you rich. Point 2. Faithfulness isn't proven when it's easy. Do not fear what you are about to suffer. Behold, the devil is about to throw some of you into prison. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. Revelation 2:10. Let's be honest. This is not the motivational speech we were hoping for. Jesus doesn't promise protection from suffering. He promises presence in it, and a crown on the other side. He says, do not fear. You are about to suffer. Jesus is brutally honest, but He's also breathtakingly hopeful. The word faithful here doesn't mean famous. It doesn't mean flawless. It means loyal under pressure. Some of them were about to be imprisoned. Some would be executed. But all of them had a choice: compromise for comfort or endure for a crown. Just a few decades later, a church leader named Polycarp, a disciple of the Apostle John himself, was arrested in Smyrna. He was given a chance to save his life. Just curse Christ and burn incense to Caesar. Here's what he said: 86 years I have served him, and he has done me no wrong. How can I blaspheme my king who saved me? He was burned at the stake that day, but Polycarp had something Rome couldn't touch: the crown of life. Faithfulness is like staying in the fire with Jesus rather than jumping out for a lesser reward. It's like refusing to trade gold for gravel. Satan will tempt you with short-term relief. Jesus offers eternal reward. Where are you being tempted to give up right now? Maybe it's not persecution. It could be weariness, discouragement, bitterness. Jesus isn't calling you to predict the future. He's calling you to trust Him today, just one foot in front of the other. Faithfulness is built one choice at a time.
Point 3. The first and the last has the final word. The words of the first and the last who died and came to life. Revelation 2:8. The one who conquers will not be hurt by the second death. Revelation 2:11. Jesus opens and closes the letter with eternity in mind. He calls Himself the first and the last. That's not just poetic language. It's a claim to deity. He is before time and beyond time. He doesn't just understand your story, He authored it. And when you're walking through suffering, you need to remember, this isn't the final chapter. The worst Smyrna could face was death. But Jesus had already stared down death and walked out of the grave. The pressure in Smyrna was intense. But here's something most people miss. The word Smyrna comes from the word myrrh, a burial spice. And how do you get the fragrance of myrrh? By crushing it, their pain was not pointless. Their suffering was releasing a fragrance of faith into the heavens. When you're faithful through pain, something beautiful happens. Your life becomes a testimony that hell can't silence. Jesus promises, you won't be hurt by the second death. What's that? The first death is physical. The second death is eternal separation from God. And Jesus says, you're safe, I've already conquered it. If you belong to Jesus, your worst-case scenario is resurrection. That's not a bad deal. What would it look like to live unafraid of death? What would it look like to suffer like someone who knows the ending? The world says, avoid pain at all costs. Jesus says, follow me through it and receive the crown. You have to respond. Smyrna reminds us that real Christianity costs something, but it's also worth everything. You can be poor, but rich. You can be crushed, but fragrant. You can be hated, but crowned. This life will bring pain, but Jesus brings perspective, and the cross-shaped road leads to resurrection joy. So today, let me ask you, are you trusting Jesus with your pain? Are you staying faithful even when it feels like no one sees? Are you living like someone who already owns the crown? He sees, he knows, and he's holding a reward that will make all of this worth it. Stay faithful, because the King is coming, and he never forgets his people.